Okay, so I just finished watching To the Bone on Netflix. Excuse my extra puffy eyes. I was crying my eyes out the whole time. I made a list of things I wanted to talk about since the reason I thought of making this video was because I've been seeing other YouTubers making videos about it, about their opinions on it, and just quickly saying, I know I haven't posted in quite a while. YouTube hasn't been wanting to let me upload videos, and then I moved and didn't have Wi-Fi for quite a while. But anyways, I'm probably going to just directly upload this and not edit it. So sorry about that. But okay. So my list is pro and con, and I wrote a lot under cons, despite that I feel I really liked the movie. Let's just get into it. I'll just read from my list, I guess. So, to start off the cons, I felt not everyone. I felt it was portrayed that everyone with an eating disorder comes from a messed up family background, things like that, when that's not true at all. I just felt that was portrayed the wrong way. Not everyone with an eating disorder is stick thin, and I felt that Eli was. They made her out as the typical, stereotypical eating disorder figure. And although anorexia and being underweight is one of the biggest eating disorders, I feel like they could have gone a different route. Because as I wrote lower down on my list, I felt very triggered when they showed how skinny she was, but at the same time I felt that was very necessary to show. So again, I don't know if my pro and con list is very wellly separated. Another I noticed that I thought of is I've never heard of an inpatient that took their patients on field trips. And I don't even know if I've ever seen a movie that's shown that. And I felt it was very unrealistic, unless I'm totally wrong. I mean, I've only been in 2, but I wrote this, but then when I was reading over my list, I didn't know if I was gonna say it, but I guess I will. I wrote that I wish my inpatients had been in something more like this than in hospitals. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that. I don't know. I feel like I'll get way out of hand if I continue talking about that. I feel that inpatients are usually portrayed to look great and put together in movies when they're not. They're They're just not. And they're also portrayed as beautiful, I feel like. The scenery was all beautiful, all the cast was beautiful. I feel as though they're portraying everything around them as beautiful and portraying the people as beautiful when they shouldn't, because to me, that's making it seem like the disease is beautiful when it's not. I feel like a lot more raw and real. Hi, Jack. What was I talking about? A lot more raw and real footage, I guess you could say, should have been shown. Another thing I wrote is, what I didn't get is, what doctor is that? Chill is literally the word I wrote down. He just didn't seem real at all. He didn't seem like he was portraying any kind of doctor I could ever see existing. And then I also felt it really weird that there were barely ever any doctors or nurses around the patients. And another thing I just realized is there was only 6 patients. Well, there were 7, but there was supposed to only be 6. And in one way that can be really good, but I haven't been in one that had that little, so it was weird to me. But I thought it seemed very unsafe, unrealistic that that the doctor and nurses weren't shown to be around. I just find that to be portraying it as it's not dangerous to leave people inpatient alone, even though there were no doors and they check everything they have when they first come in, and they wash their own dishes. I just find that dangerous. I just find that to be portraying, you just don't know what people would want to do. I just find that dangerous. And another thing, as the movie went on, I found it to be showing Eli and Luke's relationship, budding relationship, way too much. This happens with many movies that I've seen. They add in this budding relationship between 2 patients, and I find it very unrealistic and way off the point. I get that it can draw in more audience, but it shouldn't be, in my opinion, so focused on. I also felt that, I believe it was even said in the movie, how much help is really being given when there's so little supervision, especially during mealtime. The rule was simply eat what you want, eat as little or as much as you want, and you get points for eating. That's just not, to me, even close to enough motivation. And just not smart. If I had been in that situation, I wouldn't have eaten. I don't understand how that was a good portrayal of an inpatient at all. And my last one for cons. At the end, when Eli fell asleep on the rocks, and it was shown that like she was going to heaven or something, even though she ended up not. It was shown like it was like in any movie, but in this one I feel it shouldn't have been shown like this, where it was so beautiful where she was going. And even though she didn't really die, it's portrayed that she could be. I lost my train of thought. I didn't find it a good thing to have been done, because it's showing that if you die from your eating disorder, you're going to a better place. Despite a few minutes later, her seeing her dead body on the ground, and that kind of waking her up. Waking her up in the sense, I need to go back and get help and get better. Despite that, I still feel like it shouldn't have been shown like that. The whole falling asleep and going into some daydream. I don't even know how to describe it. And then for my pros, I just wrote 2, and one of them I only thought of after the movie. So the second one is that I feel hitting rock bottom is or can be extremely necessary for some people. So I like that they talked about that a little. I wish they had talked about it more. Yeah, I feel like that is definitely absolutely necessary for some people to get better. Yes. And lastly, the big reason I even watched the movie is because of what it was about, obviously. And I like that I could relate to Eli on many different levels about pretty much everything. I think she was shown in a really well way. Just like I just went over a lot of the other things I didn't feel were shown in a good way. But since I'm gonna directly upload this, I should probably stop it. And yeah, that's my opinion on To the Bone, that was recently put on Netflix. And that's it.